Okay, whatever. Well, going everyone, Sancho Uche here. Welcome back to the channel, and I hope everyone's having a great day. As you can already tell by the video title and thumbnail, today we'll be talking about Dragon Ball GT 2.0, but it's not Dragon Ball GT 2.0 in the conventional sense that you would think when you hear Dragon Ball GT 2.0. But or maybe it is, maybe, who knows, but probably at the end of the discussion you can decide for yourselves. But anyway, be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Of course, we're a week shy of Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter 57, so of course I'll be dropping my review on it. So subscribe, notification bell, journey to 1,000. But yeah, so GT 2.0. For those of you that have been following Dragon Ball Super for the last few years, you will know that we're still stuck within that 10-year time zone between when Goku kills Kid Buu and when he flies off with Oob at the end of Z. But there's no clear indication when we're actually going to get out of this 10-year time skip. But the question kind of comes up: when we do, will we kind of replace the events of GT? Will we canonize GT, or will GT be looked at as like a separate dimension, which would in turn kind of canonize it like an alternate timeline? If you look at it that way, well, we're yet to see. We're still a ways off before that even happens. But the point remains is that what are we going to do after the 10-year time skip? And I think one of the central things that I want to kind of discuss for this video is the fact that going past that point in time, I think it's time Dragon Ball as a franchise takes up back a concept that they haven't really had the best of luck balancing or solidifying, and that's passing things to the next generation. The end of Z and GT, I guess towards the end, kind of try to paint that picture of we'll move past Goku, we'll focus on the next generation, we'll let the earth fend for itself, X and Y. But for the most part, the writers, and of course by extension, or even not even by extension, the main man himself, Akira Toriyama, they haven't had the best of luck of doing that. So I think going past the 10-year time skip, focusing on the next generation is going to be crucial, I believe. But I think instead of trying to write out characters like Goku and Vegeta and just focus on new generation, it's obviously not going to work. Well, it could work, but the way things look are based on how things have gone in the past, they're not going to make a drastic decision like that. So I think the best bet is balancing things between Goku and Vegeta, especially Goku, he's the main character, and the next generation at the same time. Now we have a number of characters that we could focus on post the 10-year time zone, which is like Gohan, Goat, and Trunks. I know a lot of people are disappointed with how they've been used in Super, so yeah, making use of them after the 10-year time zone, I think a lot of people could get behind that. We still have Bra, Pan, and Oob, of course. So that's 6 characters that are ripe for the picking. We're making use of them after the 10-year time skip actually comes around. Now GT takes place 5 years after Goku flies off with Oob, so it's still a ways before we even get to that point. But the point I'm trying to make is that balancing things between the new cast and the new generation and the old generation is going to be key. I think it would be a good way to introduce horizontal, how should I say it? Horizontal conflict. What I mean by that is this, compared to its opposite, quote unquote, vertical escalation of conflict, I suppose. Arc after arc, everybody knows this who's a Dragon Ball fan, that we've got to introduce new villain, stronger than the last, and for the most part, even though we've been eating it up for years, it does get old. And I think this is why a lot of persons are vibing with the Moro arc, including me right now in the manga, because even though Moro he's very powerful, but I guess outright I couldn't really say he's in terms of raw power more powerful than a Jiren or or a Broly, but because of his abilities, the main characters have to actually, approach the conflict from a different perspective than how they usually do, which gives rise to the interest and the love that the arc is receiving to date so far in the manga. So that's what I think. If we have all these characters that are considerably weaker than than Goku and Vegeta at this point, and Gohan of course, then you're kind of forced to actually introduce conflicts horizontally, or kind of dumb them, well, not dumb, that's probably a poor choice of words right there, but yeah, you're kind of forced to kind of bring down the conflict or actually separate the characters and make it like a converging story, so at least every character has their time to shine, and the story and the whole narrative feels more dynamic than just being the Goku show or the Goku and Vegeta show for the most part. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking forward to and hoping they actually manage to pull off, because I mean, watching say like how should I put it, watching say like Naruto, I guess, of course people like Naruto, some people like Sasuke, some people like Rock Lee, some people like Neji, some people prefer X or Y character over this character, and where Dragon Ball is concerned these days, if it's not Goku, Vegeta, it's really the other characters from other universes that are really selling it right now. We know that our main characters, like say apart from Goku and Vegeta, still have potential, but they don't really have like arcs centered around them anymore. I mean, I know for the most part a lot of their story arcs have completed, but I think if we could introduce some creative writers, go past the 10-year time skip, and kind of balance things up between the new generation and the old generation, just to ensure we have a dynamic cast, especially since their old plans of moving with past Goku have failed so far or at least they went back on it, then I think going past the 10-year time skip becomes a more interesting, there's like more interesting look or dynamic that can be brought out once they actually reach that point. And of course the GT period of time, if it really leads to them just redoing that point of time and like kind of replacing it, even if they say canonize it, what if they can just erase that timeline? Well, which they probably won't, because the marketability of the characters from GT, especially in video games, is pretty good, so yeah. But yeah, at the same time, even if the GT remains and say they canonize it, it would be a good way for this this current timeline or canon timeline to actually go about things once it actually reaches to that point in GT, because GT has its flaws, a lot of them, but I think one of the major flaws was the underutilization of a lot of characters in a lot of the arcs, especially Pan, because I would imagine the intention was for us to, I think a lot of people wanted to like Pan, but it just didn't work out. So I think refreshing Dragon Ball, if it's something they're going to go for the long run at this point, since Dragon Ball's been doing good since it came back, but if we're going to say do Dragon Ball for the next 10, 15, 20 years, then we need a revamp, and approaching the story from a different perspective by focusing on the new generation should pave the way for the GT period of time once they get there, if and when they get there, and the foreseeable future. So yeah, let me know what you think. I mean, just not too long reach from for the most part, and I was just juggling the idea in my head, so hence this video. But let me know what you think. What are your expectations for the new generation? And out of the 6 characters that I named, who would you look forward to the most, so in terms of them focusing on or developing story arcs around? I think Oob has a strong, you could develop a strong arc around Oob more than likely. Bra, Pan, they're new, young, don't see why not. But anyway, Sanjo here. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, people, and let me know what you thought about this video. Leave a comment, like, all that jazz and blues as per usual, and I'll see you guys in the next one.